Tonight, we speak with one of the presidential candidates, and he will be telling us about his ambition, his ideas, and manifesto. What is different in all of those? Tonight, we hear from one of the unique presidential candidates in the 2023 presidential race. And the Peter Obi campaign today speaks about recent attacks on their campaign council. We're speaking about what has become a source of worry for the Peter Obi and the Labour Party. A very warm welcome to all of you wherever you may be watching. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. We continue with our countdown, and it's exactly a month away from the 2023 presidential and National Assembly election slated for the 25th of February 2023 year. Everyone, I hope that you have gotten your permanent voter cards, because in another few days, that window will close and you may not be able to exercise your franchise. In some states, we are hearing now that they're declaring public holidays by the government to be able to allow people to collect their PVCs. So go get your PVCs, make your vote count. We're counting down to the election day. Hashtag Nigeria decides. So much to talk about tonight. Yesterday we were doing some analysis about some manifestos, and there were a lot of people who were asking the questions. These guys have a lot of ideas. Yeah, ideas rule the world. Yeah, if you don't have the right ideas, you might not have the right path to go. So we need to critically assess the ideas that are embedded in the manifestos of these political parties and their presidential candidate. In any sense, that is what they should be selling to us tonight. We'll be dissecting one of the presidential candidates' manifesto, and then we'll switch to speak with the Director General of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council over what has become a worrying trend on the attack of the Peter Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council. Stick around with me, everyone. Let's check out some of your political roundup stars.
The Abia State People's Democratic Party governorship candidate, Professor Uche Ikonne, is dead. In a statement signed by his son, Mr. Chikezie Uche Ikonne, the PDP governorship candidate died this morning at the National Hospital, Abuja, after a brief illness. The presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, and some of the governors of the APC in the southwest were in Ogun State, where the party staged a presidential rally with numerous members of the party in different colors of attires trooped out to participate in the rally. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has taken his campaign to Gombe State in the north-central region of the country. Mr. Obi and his supporters stormed the Pantami Stadium, where he told the people that Nigeria is sharply divided along ethnic and religious lines, and assures them that himself and his running mate will unite Nigeria, as no country can grow in an atmosphere of disunity. The presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is still in Delta State, where he continued to be hosted by his running mate and governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. Today, the presidential candidate was involved in the unveiling and commissioning of the Mother and Child Hospital, one of the legacy projects of the Okowa administration. The House of Representatives has asked the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC Limited, as the sole importer of petrol, to urgently ease off queues in filling stations. The House today also urged relevant security agencies to fish out oil marketers and other economic saboteurs that may be responsible for the fuel scarcity in the country. Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State has lamented the huge amount of money being spent by the federal government to subsidize electricity, petrol and foreign exchange, which is no longer sustainable if the country must be able to tackle most of its socio-economic problems. He was speaking at the 12th Kaduna State Council on Health meeting. El-Rufai disclosed that the federal government spent 6 trillion naira on fuel subsidy for for 6 months 4 trillion naira to subsidize the naira and 300 billion naira to subsidize electricity in 2023. The leadership of the youth wing of the Tinubu-Shatima Campaign Council is calling on youths across the country to take advantage of the upcoming election to demonstrate their readiness for leadership in all strata across the country. According to the youths, the period leading to the election avails them time to combine divergent strengths and individual talents. Cross River State government has declared 26th and 27th of January 2023 as work-free days across the state to enable citizens collect their permanent voters card ahead of the January 29 deadline. The Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Eric Anderson, says over 300,000 of the voters' cards are yet to be collected and has appealed to civil servants to use the opportunity to collect their PVCs. The presidential and governorship rallies of the All Progressives Congress may not take place in Taraba State until the Supreme Court determines the governorship candidate of the party in the state. A member of the party's presidential campaign council, Mr. David Kente, revealed this during a mega rally in Wukari in the southern part of Taraba State. A former presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress APC, Senator Rochas Okorocha, says Nigeria needs a political solution to tackle the menace of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Mr. Okorocha, who was speaking at an event to raise awareness on out-of-school children, notes that as political leaders, they have a major role to play in addressing these challenges, which will help in reducing crime, especially as the nation prepares for elections. Loyalists of former governor of Osun State and Minister of Interior, Mr. Rauf Aregbesola, have regrouped to form another caucus group within the All Progressives Congress in the state. Leader of the group, Mr. Wali Alabi, says the group tagged Blue Movement will not support any presidential candidate without the endorsement of their leader, Mr. Aregbesola.
Thank you so much, everyone. And there you go. You've been served with your political roundup stories. Now, tonight on the program, our very first conversation will be with a presidential candidate who is also a national chairman of his party. It's a young political party, though, which has distinguished itself in terms of characteristics because it is the last party on the ballot by the virtue of party name or acronym. The presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, Chief Dan Nwanyanwu, joins me live on the program tonight. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're wearing two hats, although, I mean, that's not literally.
I'm just wearing one.
You are wearing one, yeah. But in other sense, you're wearing two hats as the national chairman of your party and as a presidential candidate. Aside the fact that you are on China's television tonight, have you been campaigning elsewhere?
Yes, we've been dealing with the voters in the rural areas, in the wards, in the local governments. You may not find us in the jamboree rallies that are going on. Every political party has its own style. We are concerned with those that are going to cast the vote. Most of them don't have television to see the rallies. Most of them they're not on Android phones. So we meet them in the farms, we meet them at home, across the country. And when we had an outing a few days ago, we brought everybody from different states and gave an update on what is happening and the strategy to adopt. They've all come back and it is going on. But the next phase we are going now is to intensify our town hall meetings at the rural areas.
So those are the people that you are reaching out to, and there is a reason for that.
Of course, you have to.
Is there any science behind your approach?
No.
Looks a bit different from the others.
No, we have always been different. Even our manifesto is different. It's different in all material particular. You don't have to follow the wind. You don't have to follow the way others are doing it. You hire people, put them on in the fields, address them. Look, Chenwu, I have been a study of rallies since before 1999. When I watch a rally, I'll be able to tell you whether those people are members of the party or not. And it's easy to know. I can tell you that's one of my areas of specialization. There are occasions, certain statements will be made by the man addressing them. They don't react. You find out they are hired to be there. Leave the rallies. We are dealing with those with the PVC.
What does the science tell you about these people that you are reaching out to?
Yeah, they're excited. They want a change.
There must be a reason why you are doing that.
Yes, they want a change. They want something new. They are the ones that have received the bulk of the whole problems in the country. They are the ones, they belong to the group of persons that are oppressed, that are cheated, that are haunted. They don't know anything about government. They have never benefited anything. So we're dealing with them, getting to them, explaining to them why they must accept change. And in fact, they are ready and willing to change the system.
Chief Nwanyanwu, do you see yourself as a real contender in this race?
Of course, yes. So don't I look like a presidential candidate or as a president?
I mean, look, and the capabilities are two different things.
No.
One can look like a boxer and can be beaten several times in the ring.
No. You're getting it
No,
wrong.
the question I'm asking is that, are you a real contender? Because in this race, analysts and political commentators have said, this is a four-horse race. Are you one of the horses?
No. You see, you can do your permutations. You can do your research until you get to the polling unit. People will be disappointed in the next 1 month. Nigerian people, most of them are following some candidates because of one reason or the other, which I don't have to say, but they have reassured us that on that very day, they know who to vote for.
And who is that?
Of course, I'll be voted for. I have a lot of supporters across the country.
Where is your catchment?
My catchment? Across the country. Across the country. I'm in the north.
Would you be able to win your state, your home state?
Look, you don't anticipate me. Wait until the election day. Nigerians are going to vote, and we have a system that will work. We have a system that will allow votes to count and be counted.
And you see yourself as the next president of Nigeria?
Of course, I'm the next president of Nigeria. I'm not joking. I'm very serious.
All right. Let's look at your document, the manifesto. How many point agenda is yours?
Count it. You have it. I'm looking at it.
No, you are here to talk about.
Some people say 8 points, some say 7 points. It depends on how they break it.
No, but you are the one that.
There are 10 major points on that agenda.
Well, let's get into it. I see that in your manifesto, the first area is restructuring that you touched on. That's the first point. And that's perhaps, you have a reason for doing that. You've said in that manifesto that you put up a national reconciliation for all Nigerians.
Then that is not restructuring. We are talking about bringing Nigerians together. You recall the day I emerged as the presidential candidate of this party, I told Nigerians the first thing that we're going to do will be to put Nigerians back to where they were.
And where is that?
To show love. That this hatred, this lack of trust, we must work on it. We talk about putting reconciliation committee, bringing the traditional rulers to be involved, to get Nigerians back to have trust and faith in the country and accept each other as part and parcel of the society. We're going to do that first. Bring trust back to the people. People must trust you. People must believe in you. By the time you have reunited them, everybody is talking after we said it after our convention. They're not talking about bringing Nigerians together, bringing unity. Fine. They had it. It's okay. But they didn't tell you how they're going to do it. That document has told you how we're going to achieve that. And we're going to achieve it. Then you build trust.
So what we are planning to do, first and foremost, because that's first segment, you said, restructuring Africa's largest democracy.
Yes.
And on the subunit under it says, the Commission for National Reconciliation and National Healing shall be created.
Of course.
Some kind of confab, isn't it?
Yeah, not a confab. You don't call it a confab. You see, we saw something like Oputa Commission, which revealed a lot. We had similar thing in South Africa.
Absolutely.
So that is the type of commission we're going to have.
Are we at that point before the South African National Reconciliation and National Healing Committee?
What do you mean?
There was an incident that led to that.
Yes.
The apartheid.
Yes.
So when they got into another era, they set up that committee.
Yes.
For the South Africans to sit together. Have we reached that point we
have surpassed that point. So unless we are living under the stone, under the rock, Nigerians are divided. my first task will be to bring them back. You have to come back together. God put all of us here. You must put Nigerians together. There must be trust. We must believe. There was a time people didn't believe in where you come from, your religion. You are aware that at the time they celebrated Christmas and Salah together. That is very key. When you bring Nigerians back and unite them, and they have faith in you as their president and as a government, Shehu, every other thing will take its own course. It will be easy for you to navigate.
So that's your first agenda.
That is the first thing to do. Bring Nigerians back. Build trust and faith. Let them believe you. Somebody like myself, they have been following me over the years. I say things the way they are. I have never told Nigerians lies. I will never lie to them as a president. I will be transparent. There will be full and total disclosure. They will see what happens in the affairs of government. That is what I will do. And most of these my colleagues cannot say the same thing. Because this disunity, they have been part or parcel of it. So you cannot be part and parcel of creating a problem and you'll be asked to solve it, more especially when that problem has been benefiting you. So you will not solve it. And that's where I will talk about political will. They don't have political will. They can have ideas. They can provide solutions. But do they have the political will to get things done? I do. I am not tempted. I have no encumbrances. I will get things done as president, commander-in-chief, and I will not look at anybody's face.
All right. You are an Igbo man.
Yes.
I mean, that's by name and by birth.
Yes.
And there's been this agitation for an Igbo presidency. Do you think that you are that real Igbo man to solve that puzzle?
I'm not contesting as an Igbo man. In fact, let me tell you, in this country, I have said this before, if you Google it, fast check when you live here. Shehu, I have never made a kobo, either in business or otherwise, from any Igbo man. So don't push me there. That is not to say that I love them less. I am contesting for the office of the president and commander-in-chief. I have friends across the country, from the north, southwest is like my second home. And I am not going to see myself as somebody coming to represent the Igbo. But I saw myself as somebody who is bringing the required change, who is bringing something new, bringing new innovations to change from this old order to a new and more acceptable order. And that is why I'm running. I don't want anybody to vote for me because I'm an Igbo man.
So I'm asking these two the questions, and it has the two fronts. And one is the fact that there is an agitation that we cannot deny exists in the southeast region of the country. And there are those who have said if there is a president of Igbo extraction, maybe that would douse the tension. And of course, you're a politician of many years standing. You've run at least 2 political parties in this country, so you understand how politics works. You cannot be a politician that has no local base. You have to also win locally. So your local base is the region where you're from. And you'll be hoping and you'll be happy that you are winning that region of yours. So that's why I'm asking you that question.
I agree.
As an Igbo man, do you see yourself as the man that will solve that puzzle in which has become an agitation in that region?
I agree with you that politics is local. If Nigerians come to unison, maybe before the election, it's okay. Let us go this way. As has always been the case. And it comes to my region, I am better positioned to do that job.
More than Peter Obi, who is also from the same region.
And I have many reasons to say so.
Isn't it?
No, I'm talking about myself.
No, I'm asking, because this is a race.
I'm talking about myself.
This is a race and you have competitors.
You know the reason why I'm better?
Yeah.
I have fresh ideas. I have new innovations. I have things new. Above all, political will is important. Why are we having problem of security? Not taking certain decisions? Because there's no political will. People are afraid to take decisions. President Ibrahim Babangida once told us, it is better you take the wrong decision History will vindicate you rather than not taking decision at all. Insecurity escalated in this country because there was no decision. People will come and claim they will do this and do that. Do you have the political will to do so? I am in a better position to serve this country as president.
What exactly is this political will? Is it? I mean, you're saying you don't have anybody
I will explain to you.
You don't have anybody funding you. You don't have any godfather.
No. Don't bring about funding here. Let me tell you one thing, Chenwu.
Funding is crucial, isn't it?
Chenwu, no multimillionaire, no billionaire in Nigeria has been elected president. Cross-check. No multimillionaire, no billionaire has been elected president in Nigeria.
Maybe 1993, when Abiola was
the man that was to be elected did not become president.
But he was elected.
But he did not become president. Nobody of that stature had become president. From Tafa Balewa to Azikiwe, down the line. Even Yar'Adua of blessed memory, who was a governor, wasn't a multimillionaire when he became president. So let nobody deceive himself. No multimillionaire, no billionaire has been elected president and has become president of Nigeria. So don't talk about money.
So that's why
you don't know. You see, Nigerians are not looking at money now. Some people are doing things on their own. So if that God has put that in Nigeria that wouldn't allow any billionaire or multi-billionaire to be president, why wouldn't I be running? Because I'm not in that category.
Chief Nwanyanwu, let me take you to security. One of the issues that you raised.
Yes.
You talked about an overhaul. You said you will overhaul the entire security architecture.
Very well.
What do you mean by that? Because Nigerians are tired of big English. They want solution.
You see, before
just a moment, there is a challenge in security in every region of the country that you step your feet on. In fact, in the South-South region, there is an enormous oil theft going on, which will look like we do not have solutions to. In the Northwest region, the problem of banditry and kidnapping is there. In the Northeast region, there are those who say there are still some places in the country that is under the control of these insurgents. So the question is, how do we solve this problem beyond the big English?
Sure. Before reorganizing the entire architecture, I talked about applying the kinetic and non-kinetic system.
Those are familiar languages.
Is it familiar?
They are familiar.
Okay. But nobody
several persons have said they will employ kinetic and non-kinetic. But how is your own idea different?
It's different because we have not been able, just like in criminology, you talk about the theology of crime. We have to identify the drivers behind this insecurity, catch them through legislation, through the judiciary, and deal with that. Then we come back to the issue of what has led to people getting involved in crime, criminality, and insecurity, which of course will lead you to poverty, hunger, and so on and so forth. If you're able to identify these issues, and then back to the question you ask, you see, corruption is part and parcel of why you have to reorganize the entire architecture. We have had, you see, issue of security is not something you discuss, on public television. But if you have your intel that gives you information about insecurity, you find out that if we had done what we expected to do, ab initio, we wouldn't have found ourselves where we are.
One of the areas that caught my attention reading your manifesto, you said you will resurrect the failed total radar coverage
across the country. Of course, across the country.
There are several ungoverned spaces in this country.
They will all be covered by technology.
How many of these have you identified, and how would you solve it?
Shemu, let us look at what happened in other climes. It is possible. Malam El-Rufai told us, and when he said so, I remember the intel I had, that they see these insurgents. They listen to their discussions. They know where they are. But when they pass the information, nothing happens. We have to cover the entire area. Look at the local government chairman was brutally and callously murdered a few days ago. It was possible to be somewhere and watch it, even before they did it. We have the resources to get these things done. It's the political will. If people are benefiting from a system, they will not allow it to go. So I will get it done.
You think that people are benefiting from security?
Sure. This security has lasted long because there are many billionaires since the system. Don't push me too far. People have become billionaires.
I'm not pushing you. I'm just asking you for the benefit of Nigerians.
Yes,
because they deserve to know, isn't it?
Shehu, you know how a bird feeds, and you are asking how does a bird feed. You haven't heard in this country that most of the allocations to security were filtered. Take it away. If you go further in that document, we are going to do audits to see how these things have been done. We are not going to scratch it. We are not going to massage anybody. When you get to the root of a problem, Shehu, you'll be able to find a solution. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to treat it. But all these my colleagues, none of them will go this far. Because it's either you are wittingly or wittingly involved. It's like somebody involved in dealing with importing generators, for example, and you say he will give you NEPA. He will not give you light. Somebody that is involved in oil bunkering and all, he will not allow the refineries to work. He wants fuel to be sold at 1,000. Shehu, read my lips and take it to the bank. Within 6 months, I will sell fuel for 100 naira in this country. I have calculated it.
So tell
all
us.
These refineries will be put to use. All will be put to use within 3-4 months. At the same time, simultaneously, we are going to install modular refineries in each geopolitical zone. This thing will disappear. This idea of subsidy and all that is created. What are we subsidizing? You are not ashamed as a country. You are not ashamed as a nation that your product, you throw it somewhere. They will bring back just 3 items: petrol, kerosene, and diesel. What happened to the others, including your gear oil and all those? They take it away. You don't talk about it. I won't let that happen under my nose. These my colleagues are involved. Most of them are involved in these deals. They cannot do it. That's why when I told you I have no encumbrances, I have nothing attached to me. In relation to the perennial problems we are passing today, I will get it done. Dan Nwanyanwu will get it done as commander-in-chief.
Will you be the minister of petroleum yourself?
No, I don't have to be. If it doesn't work, I fire him. I will fire you if you don't. I'll give you my template. I want fuel to be sold in 6 months. These are my ideas. Get it done for 100 naira. Tell me what Nigerians are benefiting in this country.
Is that a realistic figure?
So I am telling you, Nigerians should take me by my words. Within 6 months, it will start dropping from day one until I get there.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is that the product you're talking about is controlled by global indices. It is not only what goes on locally.
Why can you price petrol because of the rate of dollars? That is voodoo economics. Voodoo economics. They are pricing it with the rate of dollars. Are Nigerians paid in dollars?
But Nigeria is not.
Are the workers of Nigeria paid in dollars?
Nigeria belongs to OPEC.
Yes, you belong to OPEC. But that's why you should produce what you use and use what you produce. Why must you take crude out when you can refine it? Why? They are charging you based on the rate of exchange, and they are the ones manipulating it. My colleagues cannot do it. Nigerians, listen to me. I am the only one that has the political will to get this thing done.
They've talked about cabals within that sector.
I will not have cabal during my government. And that's why you have not seen me going everywhere, paying visits. I love our leaders, so on and so forth. But I don't want anybody to place a call to me, please, this thing, drop it. All my people, most of my colleagues, these ones you rate that are top, they have godfathers. Those that don't have godfathers are godfathers themselves.
2 questions, quick one. On electricity, you've set a timeline on the issue of fuel price. On electricity, what can you do? Or what do you have in plan to do?
We first of all revisit this charade that was done in the past. We have other forms of energy that we are going to tap on. And when you revisit it, you discover that it's like my colleagues saying they will sell assets, they will do this, they will do that. Why are you selling national assets? You sold one before that has landed us where we are. NEPA is an example. All we have is darkness. In fact, it was sold to people who didn't come in. They called them foreign investors who didn't come with money. They ended up borrowing from the Nigerian system. That is corruption. That is corruption. That's why, you see, the problem of Nigeria, you have to look at it holistically. By the time you tackle that issue of corruption, linked to NEPA, linked to economy, linked to everywhere, and that's why you find there, I said I will abolish 200 naira notes, 100 naira note, 200 naira note, 500 naira note, 1,000 naira note, and turn them into coins. So those who collect bribe, by the time you are giving them 10,000, they are mocking. You will hear the noise in their pocket.
Is that a realistic one?
Of course, it's realistic. It will work. So those who just a minute. Yeah. Those who pack money and put in toilet in seaways, in water tanks, and all that, they have to build a warehouse as big as Asokoro and Wusetu to be packing coins. Look, Nigeria, the problem here should be seen as a special one that we must tackle it specially. Corruption is at the root of all the problems we have.
How long will it take you to light up Nigeria?
Within 6-9 months, you will start seeing improve in our generation.
What mark are you working on?
But within 1 week, we should be able to get within 1 year, we'll be able to get up to 10,000 megawatts. And gradually, it will improve. I'm coming. Again. You see, we have a lot of saboteurs in the system. The saboteurs you have in the refining sector are the same saboteurs you have in the power sector. You have a refinery seated there, not producing 1 liter of fuel, 1 liter of nothing. That's a budget. Workers are paid every day, every month. Money is spent to run the place. What do you call that, Shehu? My colleagues who are running, they don't have the political will to touch these things. I do have.
This is where we anchor, Chief Nwanyanwu.
Have you finished?
I mean, we are getting to that point. We can't treat all your manifesto. There's a lot of documents which you got consultants to put together for you. Well, it took them a long time to put together. But let's anchor on this one. This is quite interesting.
Yes.
You said you will revert to the old national anthem.
Yes.
What does that mean?
You see, if you look at our the national anthem we use today, Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria call obey. Nobody is following it. But let us go to the old one that is attached to our hearts. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. If you go through that anthem, particularly the third stanza, I was in the national conference, 2014. After passing the 620 resolutions, without a meeting, without a consultation, all of us rose and sang this anthem. This anthem will touch our hearts. It will revolve us. Let me also give you an example, quickly. And you must have seen it on the internet. There's a young boy crying, about 4 years, on the bed, crying profusely. What did the parents do? They put up their national anthem, Chinese national anthem. The boy got up, stood still, saluted the anthem. After the anthem, he went back to bed and continued to cry. This is the nation we want. We have to start to change what we have.
Radical ideas, Chief Nwanyanwu there, with the ZLP presidential candidate. I wish you the very best in your endeavor. It's 30 days, and you said you are the next president of Nigeria.
By the grace of God.
We see how that works, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much indeed. We take a break, everyone, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with the Director General of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Chief Akin Osuntokun. There's been some attacks on the Peter Obi Dati PCC. We'll be hearing more on that when we return, everyone. Stay with us. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. The presidential campaign of the Labour Party is worried about the trend of recent attacks on its campaign organization. Tonight, we shall be speaking with the Director General of Peter Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council, Chief Akin Osuntokun. Thank you so much indeed for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
What is going on? Your campaign came under attack twice in Katsina.
No, there are several perspectives from which you can look at what happened there. One, of course, is that within the general context of widespread security breakdown in society, on which a state like Katsina is one of the hotbeds. There's nothing surprising to that extent that violence, it was a state that had been particularly prone to violence up to the violence was up to a degree that the governor had to openly ask his people to arm themselves individually, right, to defend themselves. That was the extent to which Katsina State has attained notoriety, as a hotbed of violence. The other state is Zamfara. Both of them are unique in that respect. Security is the primary function of the state. It's a symptom of complete state failure. If the government there then say, no, I'm shifting this responsibility to you. But there's also the temptation to say that it was a backlash, against the successful rally that we had in Kano the previous day, right? A lot of people were surprised. What happened in Kano took them by surprise. They have become captives of their own imagination that Kano is the stronghold of so and so. Nobody, if he goes there, is nobody. But the myth was exploded, by the turnout at Kano, and it was organic and authentic. So, of course, there are some politicians of a particular bent of mind, who are used to thuggery and violence, and who want to stop that momentum. So I would really put it past those kind of people to organize the kind of mob violence that we experienced there. But it wasn't as if that mob violence was, it did not overwhelm the campaign. We did that. We had nonetheless had a successful rally there. A tumultuous welcome, both inside and out when we were going. And then even when Nigeria was relatively peaceful, that sort of incidents of people throwing stones at convoys has always been there. In that, I remember Katsina particularly, was Katsina and Kano. They are prone to, and these are young people, there are not many who do this kind of thing.
Does this kind of scenario give your campaign the need to change strategy?
How? What is the strategy?
If there was an attack, yes, and these were spots of twice within that same state has been reported, you don't think that there's a need? It happened on Monday. Today is Wednesday. You don't think that you need to change? Make some move to avert any recurrence?
No, it is the duty of the security agencies in Nigeria to protect and secure you and I. If I cannot go on my normal schedule of duty or walk around with freedom, which exercise my freedom, right to freedom, to assembly, to associate, that's not a problem for me to solve. It's the problem of the government of the day. There is a sad commentary on that when you can no longer protect your citizens. Now, especially those rallies, before you go to a rally, you inform the security agencies about that you are coming. And when you do that your part, it is their duty to give you adequate security and protection. So whatever happened in Katsina, the security agencies there, although I think they handled it well at the end of the day, but it is not for you, for me, you and I as citizens or political parties to circumscribe our freedom in order to say that we don't want to be, I don't see it that way. There's nothing there's no style to our campaign that should attract violence, I don't see anything. So we have no role to play, right, in preventing that kind of occurrence. That we have no role to play in it. Today we are in Gombe. In the same way we have been to every place. So it's not in Gombe. Nobody stole the convoy or anything. This is not our duty to do. We did not offend anybody.
The Katsina State, and without making any inference, is the home state of the sitting president.
Yes, it is. And he has also experienced security attack there. The last attack on his convoy, I think, resulted in the death of 2 security men, or when they were shot. I'm not sure. But there was a report to that effect that his convoy was attacked. And even while he was there at another time, when he arrived at Katsina or Daura, the terrorists or bandits chose to make a point by going to a school, secondary or primary school, cutting away all the students there into the bush, to make that point that regardless of the presence of the president of the country, they were able to do that. So again, so you see the extent to what I'm saying. Who is better secure, or who should feel better secure than the president of the country? I remember when he was coming in saying that security is his first priority. Well, and he's right. I mean, the reason of the state, the first thing that you have to of a state, the reason they tell of any state is the security. But under the security, under this government, we have witnessed, the aberration of the past 7 years, on which all these security crises keep blowing up all over the place.
Let's talk about the race generally. We are 30 days away. Some people have described your candidate as a disruptor. Some other candidates and the spokesperson on this program have said he doesn't have a real chance, but he's a disruptor to the process. But before I allow you to answer that question, there was a peace committee meeting, but your candidate was absent. And a lot of people were wondering what really happened. Was there any reason why he was absent from that meeting?
No, I remember I said that if all they have been to earlier meetings, that if the other candidates are not going to be coming, there's no point in going there, all alone or with one other person. That was what he said at that time. There was nothing against, he had nothing particularly against.
So that was his stance for not attending. He thought that maybe other candidates were not going to be there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and there was only the only person who attended was the presidential candidate of the APC, who was caught sleeping. Anyway.
There were other presidential candidates that attended. Showora was there. Al-Mustafa was there. Kola Abiola was there. Quite a number of them.
Okay, so I take your point. He wasn't there. Okay. I can't seek any.
All right. So the question I was raising earlier is the fact that your candidate has been described as a disruptor who doesn't have the real chance of winning this election. With the manner in which things are going right now, does your party or your campaign feel have that kind of feeling going into this election?
You see, this is what everybody has been saying since the beginning. The last time I came here, we raised the same issue. In the beginning, it's also say this is the same, we are just rooted on the spot. People can deceive themselves. I'm sure that if anybody told them that we will have a rally in Kano the other day and have that kind of turnout, they will say, no, he has no real chance. And then in any case, those who did the scientific investigation, the pollsters, out of maybe 7 or 8, they consistently scored him as a front runner. Now, it is a strange phenomenon in the politics of Nigeria. There is a stark contrast, between him and what is happening. Now, there's no point in going there, all alone or with one other person. That was what he said at that time. There was nothing against, he had nothing particularly against.
So that was his stance for not attending. He thought that maybe other candidates were not going to be there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and there was only the only person who attended was the presidential candidate of the APC, who was caught sleeping. Anyway.
There were other presidential candidates that attended. Showora was there. Al-Mustafa was there. Kola Abiola was there. Quite a number of them.
Okay, so I take your point. He wasn't there. Okay. I can't seek any.
All right. So the question I was raising earlier is the fact that your candidate has been described as a disruptor who doesn't have the real chance of winning this election. With the manner in which things are going right now, does your party or your campaign feel that kind of feeling going into this election?
You see, this is what everybody has been saying since the beginning. The last time I came here, we raised the same issue. In the beginning, it's also say, this is the same, we are just rooted on the spot. People can deceive themselves. I'm sure that if anybody told them that we will have a rally in Kano the other day and have that kind of turnout, they will say, no, he has no real chance. And then in any case, those who did the scientific investigation, the pollsters, out of maybe 7 or 8, they consistently scored him as a front runner. Now, it is a strange phenomenon in the politics of Nigeria. There is a stark contrast, between him and what is happening. Now, you use the word disruptor, right?
That's one of them.
Yes,
one of my guests.
And you're absolutely correct. What he has come to disrupt is the kind of engagement the APC and the PDP, the revelations they have made of one another. Who is the bigger thief? Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. It's revealing. By themselves, they were telling Nigerians who they are. There is no earthly reason why any Nigeria in the past 2 weeks who hear the kind of information those people were trading between themselves and claim to look forward to a Nigeria in which either of them will be president. You remember, I was watching, you yourself, I don't need to tell you, you know what they were saying about. They're taking themselves to court, right? Calling themselves criminal, ganglands, drug lords.
That perhaps helps your campaign, isn't it?
Exactly. That is where the disruptor, that scenario that we have just needs to be disrupted for the sake of Nigeria. They kept on building, reinforcing their unsuitability for the presidency of Nigeria. The ticket, and it started from the composition of their ticket in the first place. That of PDP against the run of a facility that had demonstrated the potential to stabilize the politics of Nigeria. That is the rotation of power between North and South. He brazenly went against it. Not only that, he then reinforced the cleavage. What he did, by having the chairman of the party as from the North, the director general of the campaign from the North. So he wants you to know that as far as he's concerned, this idea of rotation or balance is a non-starter. The other one, right? What he gave with the right hand, he took back with the left. There was a rotation to the south to the presidential candidate who is a Muslim. And then he deliberately, under no duress, right, went and chose another Muslim, right, to be his running mate. So you see, there are two sides of the same coin.
Let's anchor on this note, and quickly, so we have just about 30 or 40 seconds to close the program. And is on this point, those who have fears that this election will be determined by deep pockets, those who have the money. Chief Afebabala said that much. Has that reality come to your campaign, that this is something you need to prepare for?
Well, yes, of course. Prepare for it to change as much as possible, to change that culture, right? Look, it's a sad commentary on Nigeria. If money, and then it's not money spent legitimately. It's money spent to corrupt the system, to corrupt. So, but whether that is intended or not, the currency change, the monetary policy that has just been seems to anticipate this kind of behavior. We'll see to what extent it will. Thank
you so much, Chief Akin Osuntokun. It's 30 days to the election, and we're hoping that some interesting incident might occur leading up to the election. But thanks so much indeed for coming.
My pleasure at all times.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Many thanks everyone for watching. I'm sure Akin Osuntokun. Bye-bye.